Must you go, sir?
I regret to say I must. I have been idle for long enough. But know this, I shall forever be indebted to the Roselle. I know not why fate delivered my battered body to the shores of your village, but I am fortunate that it did. I owe my life to your kindness. Thank you.
You'll have no debt with us. We only did what was right. But where will you go? Safety is a luxury few are afforded these days.
The war rages still, and so long as it does, I must fight with every inch of my being to end it.
A single man can't fix this tangled mess of a world.
Ah, but I am not alone. Every moment my allies risk life and limb without me is a moment I owe them for their bravery. I must rejoin them at once.
I see there's no convincing you otherwise. Very well. But we expect to hear news of your victory soon.
I sense the world is on the cusp of great change. Change for the better. When it comes, let us celebrate its arrival together. Well met, friends. I require passage to see Lord Serenoa.
And who are you? If you want an audience, you'll have to wait behind the rest. Wait. That cape, it can't be. You're Sir Maxwell. My lord, Sir Maxwell has returned.
My apologies for my abrupt departure, my lord. Full glad am I to see you have managed without me.
Sir Maxwell, you're alive.
Aye, and none the worse for wear, I hope. It seems fate would have me take up my spear once more.
Where have you been? We all feared the worst.
Avlora's fell blow cast me into the river, and its cold embrace washed away my memories along with my pride. I awoke in a village of kind-hearted folk. I might have stayed there, blissful in ignorance, had news of your exploits not reached them. It was then that old memories stirred, prideful memories, painful memories. My purpose became clear. I must end this war or perish in the attempt. I hope that I have not come too late to make a difference.
Of course not. We would be honored to have you fight by our side. I only hope you can say the same for us, Dawnspear. You've gotten better, my friend. Much better. Only because I've had you to train with.
And how far behind would I be without Sir Maxwell's tutelage? The Dawnspear himself is my personal mentor, and still you're all but my equal.
It's been a while since we last sparred. It takes time to adapt to a new opponent.
Perhaps so. Anyhow, I always enjoy our skirmishes. No better way to clear my head after another quarrel with Father. Must all three nations be part of this mining venture? I've yet to hear a convincing argument as to why.
You do not hear because you do not listen.
Hyzante offers nothing but a sliver of their vast riches. Something we could easily do without. I understand the advantage of involving Aesfrost. Their expertise speeds things along immeasurably. But Hyzante? Have you at least demanded they lower the taxes on salt? Such a change would be welcomed by our subjects and enrich their daily lives. We cannot concede everything while gaining naught in return. Surely you see this, Father.
It has been decided, and I will hear no more. You presume upon matters you do not comprehend.
But Father, I'm just...
Now, Roland, if there's nothing else, pray leave me be. I have more important matters to attend to.
Yes, Father. If only I had found the right words. If only I had kept my emotions in check. Perhaps things would have ended differently.
Blaming yourself for past mistakes will lead you nowhere. You must look forward for the opportunities ahead.
Of course. And I trust you'll be at my side come that time.
Just as House Wolffort stands with the crown, I stand with you.
I am fortunate to have as loyal a friend as you.
As am I. Enough sentimentality. Raise your spear so I can knock it down.
You're welcome to try, my friend.
Might I sit here for a bit?
If you don't mind the company of this old maid, you're more than welcome. Well now, shall we have ourselves a little chat to pass the time?
By all means. I would like nothing more than to hear of your exploits in the Salt Iron War. I have read much of your surpassing prowess on the battlefield, but would be honored to learn more in your own words.
Oh, child, that was so many, many years ago. How many enemies did I fell on the battlefield? I long since lost count. They say my very name was feared throughout the land. You and others may call them exploits. The truth is, I was nothing more than a skilled dealer of death.
You sound as if you regret it.
Against fellow soldiers and warriors like myself? No, that is simply the way of war. But my acts also brought suffering to those who did not deserve it. The Roselle, for example.
The Roselle? How so?
I was leading a siege on the citadel of the Sands in Hyzante, not far from the source. The Hyzantean commander was a worthy foe. The battle drew on, and we were losing men and resources with little to show for it. Seeking to end the battle quickly, I chose to raise the fort with wildfire, and so it fell. All too late did I learn that its jails were filled with Roselle, captured slaves who had fled servitude at the lake.
But you did not know they were there. You can hardly blame yourself for their fate.
Do you think the Roselle who roasted to death would say the same? What of their families?
You cannot forgive yourself for this, even so many years later.
And why should I? Because my countrymen sing of me as a hero? To this day, visions of charred bodies lying in the rubble haunt me. Lumps of burnt flesh that were once men and women who wished only for their freedom. At first, I tried to forget, but the weight of my sins was too heavy to bear, and so I abandoned everything and left my home behind. Fortunately, I had already trained a protege to follow in my place.
And ever since then, you've wandered the realm alone?
Yes, but no matter how far I traveled, I could not escape my regrets. And now, Norzelia finds itself embroiled in another bloody struggle. The horrors of the past come anew. If fighting is all I am good for, then the least I can do is fight for peace. It may not atone for the death and suffering I have wrought, but at least it may save others from the same fate.
I'm sorry. It was not my intention to make you relive such painful memories.
Worry not, lass. Truth be told, it's something I've been hoping to get off my chest for a while now. But this old maid's rambled on long enough, I reckon. Thank you for the company, child.
Thank you for joining me in my training, Sir Flanagan. I've learned much from you. In truth, I'm grateful for any training at all. There are few of us hawk riders in Glenbrook.
Then let me thank you in turn for a chance to shake the rust from my bones. Seems my mount was keen to face such a worthy opponent as well.
'Twould seem they are hawks of a feather. Speaking of which, Sir Flanagan, I understand your regiment of riders was the Duchy's finest, yet you chose to leave your homeland behind. Why?
I grew to see how powerless I was. I once believed the freedom Gustadolf espoused would bring prosperity to Aesfrost. So I fought, and fought, and fought for the cause until my shield was stained blood red.
Hence your title, yes. To think how many lives you must have saved.
Do not mock me. I saved no one. Pride swelled my breast with every mention of that cursed title. But in a year's time, what did I return home to find? My poor wife, wasting away in solitude in the throes of an accursed plague.
Your wife? Had word not reached you?
She mentioned in letters that she felt unwell, but never did I expect it to be so grave. In a matter of days, she was gone. Every moment I spent protecting the people, she drew one step closer to death, and I left her to die. Her blood, too, stains my shield.
Sir Flanagan,
Forgive me. I did not mean to burden you with my woes. But you see now, my title is a curse.
It is a tragedy, yes. But I cannot bring myself to believe you cursed. And you mustn't believe so either.
Made it in time, my lord.
Eredor, you came.
Lady Destra. Your mother was loved by one and all, my lord. Honoring her this day is the least we can do. Is it just you here, my lord?
We are beset on all sides by tasks large and small. I would not impose my familial obligations on the others.
Spoken like a true leader. Me and your mother may not have been family by blood, but duty bound us just as close.
I am sure she would have been overjoyed to see you by my side. I never had a chance to know her. My only memories are from stories others told me. And still, I somehow can feel the warmth of her embrace, hear the loving sound of her voice.
She was smitten, that is true. She held on to you so tightly, I reckon not even the Dawn Spear could have pried you from her.
Did she?
Lady Destra's smile was brighter than the sun, and near as constant. She treated young Benedict and I like little brothers, though at times we weren't so deserving of her care. Even so, she always had a kind word, and worry enough to spare. There weren't a woman like her in all of Norzelia.
I did not know the bond between you three ran so deep. Benedict never mentioned it.
His lips aren't as loose as mine, especially when it comes to Lady Destra. Speaking of which, here. Your mother would have loved to get one of these from you.
A snowbell? My father mentioned her fondness for these flowers. Every year when I visited her, without fail, one of these would be placed in front of her grave. Was that you all this time?
Well, not exactly, my lord.
They're quite rare, are they not? I often search for them, but I have yet to see one in bloom. Where did you find it?
Well, I made a journey down south. Benedict insisted. Apologies for my absence, my lord.
There is naught to apologize for. 'Twas a thoughtful gesture, and I thank you for it. Somehow, I can feel Mother smiling down upon us.
More than I deserve, if I'm being honest.
Huh. There's already a snowbell. Who could have...
Should have known. Nothing will stop him from his duty.
What was that?
It was nothing, my lord. Seems we're not the only ones carrying a torch for Lady Destra.
Indeed. We are fortunate to be part of such a close-knit house. And that is thanks to those who serve it. I trust I'll see you here again in a year's time, Eredor.
Of course, my lord. Snowbells might capture a moment in time, but your mother inspired loyalty for an eternity. At it again, eh? You know, even the Dawn Spear set down his weapon on occasion.
We are at war. I cannot hope to end it by being idle.
Spoken like a true member of the Kingsguard. You lot were always too serious for my tastes.
We were not serious enough. Where is the king we were meant to protect now? What will become of his kingdom? King Regna and Crown Prince Franny are no more. Only Roland and Cordelia remain. When I think of how lonely my charge must feel, I almost feel smothered by the guilt.
If he's lonely, he hides it well. Could be that losing his princely obligations has lifted a weight off his shoulders.
And who are you to speak on his feelings? His father ever doted on Franny. He knew precious few moments of his mother's love before she passed. Even so, he tried his utmost to never show weakness in front of his sister. He was there for her in the worst of times. There was never a place near the throne for him. Truth be told, Sir Maxwell was more of a father to him than anyone. I'd like to think I have been more than his guard. Oftentimes, I felt like his confidant.
You and Flugy are constant companions.
As I said before, my prince, he is more than my companion. He is the truest friend I could ask for.
A true friend? I must admit, I envy your relationship.
My prince, I did not mean to.
'Tis nothing to apologize for. I simply find the idea of soaring the skies with a true friend to be somewhat romantic.
You could do the same with the proper training. If it pleases you, my prince, I would gladly teach you.
You would? Then I gladly accept. I trust you will go easy on me.
I can promise no such thing. You must become as ferocious as a hawk yourself if you wish to ride one. War broke out soon after that. My promise to teach him is yet unfulfilled. So I will train, I will fight, until the skies are no longer clouded by the fires of war. Only then can I rest. Only then can we fly free. Perhaps then, with the wind in our faces, we can forget our stations, our titles, if only just for one moment.
What was that last part? You'll have to speak up.
Nothing at all. Yes, it's back to training for me.
Have another glass. I'm offering top shelf drink for bottom shelf prices tonight. No need to fret over your coin purses.
See? This is why we keep coming back. Nobody treats us better than our Hasabara.
Quite the crowd tonight, eh? Good to see it.
All thanks to you for supplying me with that mead.
Thanks to my good fortune, you mean? I got it for so cheap on account of the batch not measuring quite up to the brewer's usual standards.
Still, look at how happy it's made them. There's nothing I love more than seeing my tavern full to bursting like this. Thank you, Eridor. Truly.
It's nothing, honest.
And just like that, they've nearly drank me dry. Might have to close up early tonight.
Celebrating something, Hasabara. Whatever it is, we'll drink to that. Pour us around.
I wish I could. Seems the barrels have run dry tonight. But if you'll come back on the morrow...
Run dry? You've enough for these drunkards? You can't spare a drop for those of us who are risking our lives for you on the battlefield? Ah! Hey! Who are you calling a drunkard?
Don't you fools go spoiling the one spot of happiness we've had in a long while.
Enough! My tavern's a place for forgetting troubles, not stirring them up. You do well not to look down your noses at the very people you've sworn an oath to protect. You want respect? Go out there and earn it by ending the war. Then there'll be drink aplenty to go around.
You tell them, Hasabara! They're no better than us!
You lot aren't blameless either, you know. These soldiers do put their lives on the line to protect yours. They get enough grief on the battlefield without you giving it to them off it.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. No, I shouldn't have let my temper flare.
Look, there's still some drink left here. How's about you raise a glass together?
Yeah. You can have some of ours, too. Well, don't mind if I do.
Level head you've got on your shoulders there, Hasabara.
It helped that you pitched in when you did.
Ah, now that hits the spot. Doesn't it? Here, I'll pour you another.
See, now this is what I live for. Giving people a place they can come together and leave the worries of the world behind for a while. Somehow, I know this is what Theo would have wanted me to do. If only I could raise a glass with him.
Aye, I reckon he'd be proud. You've made a spot of sunshine for people who don't get much of it these days. People like me.
What with business booming again, it looks like I'm going to have my hands full for a while. Don't you worry for your mama, Theo. As long as there's ale to be poured and smiles on her customers' faces, she'll be just fine.
Just what was in that swill you sold me?
Ah, my good sir. Don't you look to be in a fit of pique? But what does it have to do with Lionel?
Don't play coy with me! That was no secret elixir you sold me. An elderly nobleman bought the entire batch, and all he got for his troubles was a whole day atop his chamber pot.
Ah, perhaps the tonic's invigorating effects were too potent for a man of such venerable age. While Lionel is sure his digestive system has been duly cleansed, methinks a smaller dosage should suffice next time.
Digestive system? Dosage? You said that medicine granted eternal life.
Lionel recalls saying nothing of the sort. We did converse about rumors of such an elixir existing prior to the transaction, but that was all. If you harbor any doubts, pray consult the bill of sale. Rest assured that any misunderstanding stems from your own negligence.
For all the good it'll do me now, I might as well wipe my ass with it.
My friend, the merchant's seal is his word. Consider this a lesson to read the fine print more carefully in the future.
You two-faced charlatan! You'll pay for this!
Two-faced? Has your own coin purse not grown mysteriously fat, despite the heavy taxes on salt? I dare say more so than market prices would conceivably allow. One wonders, what is the punishment in Hyzante for those who do business outside the purview of the state?
You can't threaten me! I'll gut you like a fish!
Seems you needed protection after all.
Shut up! Lionel had the matter well under control. Did you kill him?
He's just unconscious. Killing him would only attract unwanted attention.
Nevertheless, he gave Lionel quite a fright. That knock on his head couldn't have been good for the fool's health.
The only fool here is you. Using the name of House Wolffort to swindle others? How long did you think this charade would last? I'll give you one chance to stop, or else you'll end up next to him in the dirt.
Lionel will have you know he has friends in high places. Yes, very high places. So high, in fact, that yes, Lionel now sees the error of his ways. His thinking so far has been positively unambitious. It is Lionel who holds the purse strings of House Wolffort, and it is he who must see to it that said purse is overflowing with riches. He has been a fool. Only a fool would squander his talents with such petty deceits. But Lionel does not lose heart easily. No, he shall redouble his efforts. For such is his burden, the burden of a loyal servant tasked with guiding his house to boundless fortune. Ha ha! Let us begin our new work post-haste.
That took a turn for the unexpected. What am I supposed to do with him? Knock him senseless and drag him back to the castle? It may come to that.
Tell me, why did you bring me all the way out here?
Was something unclear in my explanation?
Well, truth be told, I was clutching to the hawk for dear life. I could not make out a single word of what you said.
Well, then perhaps it's best to simply show you.
What? Who? Oh, it can't be.
Hyzante, my love. I'm overjoyed to see you unharmed.
You're alive. Where have you been? I looked for you. I looked.
I caused you worry, and for that I am truly sorry. I went to meet you, but on the way realized that you were being followed by Hyzante's watchdogs. I threw myself at them to serve as a distraction. You managed to escape, I see. So my efforts were not in vain.
You fool! You should not have worried about me. What did they... What's wrong? Are you wounded?
The goddess of salt has scant mercy for those who have renounced her. The marks her scorn left remind me of their presence on cold nights like this. The night I escaped, I fled to my home. However, I returned to naught but ashes. So I fled further, deep into the mountains. There I found refuge with a kindly old woman, where I've lived ever since. Until now, that is.
You asked me for my assistance, and I am as good as my word. I hope my efforts did not disappoint. I expect you two have much to talk about. I shan't disturb you any longer.
Mistress Huette here explained to me how you've come to be in their service. I would give anything to aid you in your fight, but...
Say no more. Do not worry, my love. Leave everything to me. I shall bring this war to an end, so that no more innocent sacrifices are made upon the altar of faith. But for now, let me spend this night by your side.
You are certain Hyzante's army marches for the Grand Norzelian mines?
There is no doubt.
They've heard word of the crystals.
It was only a matter of time. We knew this.
Aesfrost's army gathers at Twins Gate as well.
War's breaking out over this thing, and we've got to be ready.
How will Glenbrook respond, King Roland?
There's no need to prepare for war. I have decided that we will surrender the salt crystals to the holy state of Hyzante.
What?
Furthermore, I hereby declare that the kingdom of Glenbrook and its people shall submit to the goddess and her teachings. There is no way to bring happiness to all Norzelia with the salt crystals, which is why I have chosen a path that will allow the greatest number of people to live in equality and harmony.
could you? Do you not see that Hyzante's dominion over Norzelia's salt is why we are in conflict already? Is the suffering of the Roselle not proof enough that the goddess's vaunted equality is a lie?
She speaks the truth, my king. Handing over the salt crystals is tantamount to giving Hyzante's goddess free reign of Norzelia. Will you so readily surrender the realm to the Hierophant?
I acknowledge the abdication of my kingdom and kingship alike. A small price to pay in my eyes, in exchange for the security and prosperity of the many.
And the sacrifice of the Roselle, is that a small price to you?
It is.
How could you say such a thing to my face?
I, for one, oppose. I would prefer to ally with Aesfrost and strike back at Hyzante. The salt deposits within the mines give us the leverage we need to convince Gustadolf to join us.
Ally with Aesfrost? You dare suggest we ally with the man who murdered my father?
I see no reason why we should not. You proposed abdicating the throne for the sake of the kingdom and its people. So you should have no trouble putting aside your own feelings and judging this matter dispassionately.
I cannot believe my own ears. I will not have you lecture me on feelings when it is not your father he murdered.
None of you can see beyond your own grievances. It's no wonder my people have suffered for generations. We're told to believe in the goddess, while our own lives are thrown away to make a few more grains of your precious salt. And now, even with proof that the goddess is a lie, you would watch us dig our own graves for your comfort.
Lady Frederica, please. We shall speak of the Roselle in due time.
No, I've heard that before. Your due time is never, and I will not have you cast us aside for another 3 decades or more. All else is in disarray. If Hyzante seizes the salt crystals, we forfeit the best opportunity in decades to free my people. We know the truth. We must act upon it. We must be a light in the darkness.
We cannot afford to dilute our forces when the enemy marches on us as we speak.
So we are a distraction to you?
I am merely being rational. Liberating the Roselle would be extremely dangerous. We cannot take such a risk. Suppose we succeed. How do you propose we fend off the fury Hyzante will rain down upon us?
Aesfrost would pounce on us, sensing weakness at the undue burden we've taken upon ourselves.
Precisely. We would be without allies and ripe for the taking.
There is another way.
And what, pray tell, would that be?
We set out alongside the Roselle in search of Centralia.
Centralia is a myth.
The legends of my people are true.
I care not one whit if they are. I will hear no talk of forsaking the Wolffort domain.
Silence! I have heard enough to know where each of you stand. Do you all hold the courage of your own convictions?
I do.
Nothing I've heard here has swayed me.
I feel the same.
Very well. I would ask for some time to think on the matter. I understand each of you keenly, my friends. You have not arrived at these decisions lightly, and I do not doubt your convictions. Yet choosing any of the options before me risks creating a schism among the others. I cannot afford to lose any of you, not after how far we've come, which leaves me only one option. Nay, I mustn't give in so readily. There must be another way. One that will bind us together, not tear us asunder. Now then, to find it. Certainties first. We cannot afford to relinquish control of the salt crystals to any one nation. Salt necessarily belongs to the people, and on that point I shall not waver. There must be a way to bring about the lasting peace Roland desires without the need for Hyzante's warped teachings. Hyzante moves to take the Grand Norzelian mines as I contemplate this. It must be stopped. They will no doubt make an ostentatious show of power in an attempt to intimidate us. What's worse, they'll soon be at our door, and we'll not defeat them with our army alone. Surely there's a way we can hold them off. The wildfire, of course! We'll draw them into the village and set the vast majority of their forces alight. The Hierophant will never relent, however. Hyzante will bear down on us with the full force of their army. We've no chance of winning a protracted war. Hyzante must fall, and quickly. We need Aesfrost. We need the Death Snell. 'Tis the only way we'll pierce the goddess's shield. I hardly relish the thought of asking Gustadolf to come to our aid. He'll no doubt demand the salt crystals in return. Who might help us get our hands on that weapon? Lord Svarog, yes! He swore to fight alongside us. It's time he made good on his word. We share a common enemy in Gustadolf. He'll be a boon. There is still the matter of how we invade Hyzante and incite the Roselle to rebel. Yes! We'll blast away the statue and reveal Hyzante's lies for all to see. If the Rosellan legends are true, an enormous pillar of salt rests within the goddess's statue. Revealing that will prove that the Roselle spoke truth all these years. Goddess and Hierophant alike will lose all claim to authority, leaving them open to a revolt from a united Roselle. And now we have the means to make the explosives that will bring Hyzante to its knees. Just one problem remains. How will we manage to pass through the goddess's shield? No banner could pass into Hyzante without arousing suspicion, unless... Unless they've no banner at all. The consortium, of course. One glimpse of the salt crystals ought to bring Claris to the table. So long as I play to his self-interest, the rest will follow. I have it. I've found a way to give everyone what they want most in one fell swoop. The salt crystals will belong to all, and not just a privileged few. The people of Norzelia will finally be lords and ladies of their own making, masters of their own destinies. Benedict's fervent desire to protect the domain's integrity, Roland's yearning for equity, Frederica's resolve to free her people. I hear you all, my friends. We're not alone. Nor are the countless others who look to me at this late hour. If ever there were a time to heed my father's last words, it is now. I must forge my own path and lead my people. The scales cannot save us this time. The words of my closest confidants have revealed a way forward that the scales never could. All that remains is to convince them to follow me down the path I have made. As Lord of House Wolffort, I solemnly swear an oath by which all future lords shall be bound. I will never turn my back on the promise of a better world.
Thus did Serenoa ascertain the Scale's true purpose. Taking up the mantle of his late father, Lord Simone, and the ill-fated Dragan, Serenoa returns to present his allies with a bold new vision for Norzelia's future.
I have made up my mind. We turn the salt crystals over to no one, but we do not keep them for ourselves. Instead, we distribute them equally to every person across Norzelia and change the face of the continent.
Do you hear yourself?
Do you mean this sincerely, Serenoa?
What of the Roselle?
I speak my conscience, and I promise I have not forgotten the Roselle. Pray, grant me the time to explain my strategy. We must put an end to the teachings if we are to release the salt to all Norzelians. Which is to say, the holy state of Hyzante must fall.
So we are to take up Benedict's proposal?
No. I propose we attack on 3 separate fronts.
At the same time?
We will use our domain's wildfire to prevent Hyzante from capturing the mines. Meanwhile, I wish to negotiate an accord with Aesfrost that affords us use of the death snell. I know full well the risks involved. However, I believe we can convince Svarog, who opposes the Archduke, that an alliance is worthwhile. Finally, we expose the falsehoods that prop up Hyzante's precious teachings and incite another Rosellan uprising. In one fell swoop, we can abase the Hierophant and throw the capital into chaos. That accomplished, we shall sack the holy state with Aesfrost at our side. With both the source and the crystals in our possession, no one in Norzelia will ever want for salt. We can bring peace, equity, and stability to all Norzelia, just as Roland envisioned. We can restore the Wolffort name to its former glory and usher it into a new era, as Benedict desires. An era, my dear Frederica, in which the Roselle shall be free once and for all. What I ask may sound impossible, but we have survived long odds before. Let us cling together and do so once again. Do any present have objections to the path I have set before us?
None for me, lad. You've quickened the very blood in my veins.
Permit me to speak plainly, Your Majesty. I am in agreement with Lord Serenoa.
We cannot dream our desires into reality. Some things must be fought for and won.
We've tried your way, Benedict. It's time we tried something new.
What say you 3?
I am ashamed to admit that my obsession with the domain's safety may have blinded me to more aggressive solutions. Your plan is audacious, perhaps even reckless, but it is not impossible and may well be worth the risk. House Wolffort is better for having you at its helm, Lord Serenoa.
The fate of my people always felt so small compared to the war raging around us. Yet you would still choose to walk a dangerous path rather than cast the Roselle aside. It would be my honor to fight alongside you and see this through.
I honestly thought Hyzante would rule better than I could. That they would bring prosperity to Norzelia. I shrank from my duties and lost myself to the idea of revenge upon Gustadolf. I may well have betrayed my own kingdom. But you, Serenoa, opened my eyes to the truth. And for you, my friend, as King of Glenbrook, I shall face any enemy and lead our people to glory.
Then we've no need of the scales. Our path is decided. From here on out, we shall split into 3 regiments. Allow me to explain the role each has to play. I pray that clarifies what each regiment needs do. Prolonging the war risks slowly driving the 3 kingdoms to ruin and starving their people in the process. Not to mention, all involved will lose sight of what they were fighting for if they haven't already.
Agreed. 'Tis for the good of all if we bring it to a swift and decisive end.
And so we find ourselves contemplating war on 3 fronts.
Hyzante and Aesfrost aren't expecting such drastic action from us. The element of surprise may deliver us victory.
As will the leader of each regiment involved in this gambit.
I shall lure the Hyzantean army to their doom here at Castle Wolffort.
Svarog knows who I am, and swore he would fight alongside me. I shall depart for Aesfrost and hold him to his word.
Pray, let me be the one to journey to Hyzante. I would love nothing more than to expose their full sidle for all to see, and lead my people to rebel in the name of freedom.
Then I shall secure the help of Claris of the Consortium in exchange for information about the salt crystals. He can secret you inside the capital and provide you with explosives enough to fell the goddess. Though we fight on distant fronts, we are bound together in spirit. We fight to the last for Norzelia!
For Norzelia!
No, it can't be. General Avlora? Of the Aesfrosti army?
Former General. I come to you now as a citizen of Norzelia, nothing more. I come to House Wolffort in search of sanctuary. I beg you, have the mercy to take me in.
Wait here.
General Avlora, we thought you missing.
Indeed, it was your actions that caused my brief disappearance, though I bear no grudge for how the battle ended. This time, however, I come to you with a humble request. I wish to join your ranks, if you'll have me.
You wish to defect? To what end?
That we may bring this fraught and fractious chapter of Norzelia's history to a close. I would see those of Lady Cordelia's generation preside over an era of peace and tranquility. You've every right to doubt me when I say Lady Cordelia has touched me. But I swore to be her sword forevermore, not Aesfrost's.
We have long been enemies. You've taken much from us in Aesfrost's name. I know you to be many things, General Avlora, but a schemer and a liar are not among them. I trust that you speak true, and your talk of a swift end to this conflict appeals to me. You're of the same mind.
My lord.
Nevertheless, there remains bad blood between us. There may be some within our ranks who are less than pleased to see you.
I expect there will be. I understand their hurt, and have made my peace with it. I will suffer their slings and arrows gladly if it means bringing peace to Norzelia.
I admire your conviction. In truth, we have already arrived at our decision. Your strength is a boon we can neither hope to replicate nor replace. I welcome you, General of Lora, to House Wolffort.
My sword is yours, Lord Serenoa.
Now, Serenoa, let us divide House Wolffort into 3 regiments.
I leave the allocation of forces in your capable hands.
Choose wisely. Once the plan is in motion, we won't have the luxury of adjusting our strategy.
Understood.
Hyzante raises their army on the presumption they can seize the grand Norzelian mines for themselves. The Hierophant has ordered them to destroy House Wolffort as well. We, however, will not yield. The salt crystals are ours, and we will defend them with our lives. Hyzante shall bend the knee at the tip of our blades. Though we haven't the numbers to defeat Hyzante's army, we do have a winning strategy. This village has a secret, one designed to be used in times like these. The aqueducts here can be set ablaze. The fire will then spread through the village, razing it to the ground, along with the invading forces. There will be fire enough to consume every last soldier. The Hyzantean army blindly obeys the Hierophant. But the Hierophant has no power here. We choose our own path, and we have the courage of our convictions. This battle is but the first step on the path Lord Serenoa has laid before us. Let us take this first step together and rejoice. For Norzelia, now and forever.
Twins Gate is sealed. Kusadov hardens his defenses at the encampment within. We will approach the gate and request an audience. We may yet find common ground with Aesfrost. The duchy wields the Death Snell, a weapon capable of reducing the goddess's shield surrounding Hyzante to rubble. We need that weapon if we are to break the Holy State's stranglehold on Salt, and thus Norzelia. I know this may feel a betrayal to some of you. Aesfrost invaded us. They are the enemy. They murdered my father and brother, and I will never forget nor forgive them for it. But I believe if Father were still here, he would see that I go to Aesfrost for the right reasons. That I ask them for aid so that we may thrive. For above all, a king's duty is to his people. And I would sooner cast out the shadows of the past by building a brighter future than lament our lot in life. I ask for your aid in building that bright future. Let us walk the path set before us by Serenoa, and lead Norzelia into a new era of peace and prosperity unlike any we've known.
To the plan. We shall slip into the capital of the Holy State, disguised as a band of merchants from the Norzelia Consortium. Lord Claris has taken on no small amount of risk in agreeing to help us gain entry. We are truly in your debt, Lord Claris.
I stand to gain more from a liberated Norzelia, where Hyzante no longer dictates the terms of trade and commerce. In short, spare no extra thoughts for me. This is as much a business consideration as it is helping those in need.
As he says, this is for the future of Norzelia. We now endeavor to destroy the goddess's likeness that serves as a pillar of their teachings. If the Rosellan legends are true, we will find that the statue concealed a massive pillar of salt that was stolen from my people. This salt pillar is incontrovertible proof that the teachings and the goddess around which they are built are lies. The faithful will be shaken to their core, and the Hierophant's power will wane. With luck, we may even show the Roselle they were without fault, inciting them to rise once more and cast off the yoke of their oppressors. This is nothing less than a battle to wrest control of Norzelia from the clutches of a capricious and vengeful goddess. Have you prepared the explosives, Lord Claris?
Prepared and loaded onto a cart, my lady. Enough to bring the goddess back to Earth, I should think.
Excellent.
Then let us depart.
You are a marvel, Lady Frederica. A Rosellan with Aesfrosti blood, fighting under House Wolffort's banner. Who better than you to challenge Hyzante's tyranny? Do you not feel the weight of destiny upon you?
This is not destiny, Lord Claris. Nothing could be less certain than the moment in which we find ourselves. Serenoa and I have traveled a long, hard road together. It brought us here, but it does not end here. And so we walk on.
Now you seek to fell the goddess. You are possessed of an iron will, if you'll forgive the expression.
I shall take that as a compliment. Watch over us, Mother.
From across the border, the Hyzantean army marches, its sights set on the grand Norzelian mines. At its head is Exham Marshal of the Saintly Seven. Seizing control of the Salt is not his sole objective. He has come to investigate disturbing rumors that Serenoa Wolffort has forsaken the blessing of the goddess. Knowing the answer to that question and the repercussions it will provoke, House Wolffort and its allies have carved out a strategy on which their survival will hinge. They will divide their forces into three, each acting in concert to outwit their adversary. Roland will lead a company to the Aesfrosti border, where they will entreat Lord Svarog for his support and the use of his death's knell. Frederica will lead her own retinue to the source to reveal the lies of the goddess's teachings and rouse the Roselle to action as her mother did before her. Benedict will remain in the Wolffort domain, ready to risk all in an effort to stave off the Hyzantean army. United by their faith in Serenoa's vision, each takes to their preparations with resolve, understanding fate's judgment is at hand.
Minister Exham has arrived with the full might of Hyzante in tow. He requests a parley. How diplomatic of him, considering his forces already surround the castle. Doubtless he'll demand that we surrender the salt crystals, and that we bow our heads low to the Hierophant. We'll deny him, of course, and a battle will follow. We must make ready. The common folk have been led to shelter, and we have oil aplenty. All that is left is to steel our resolves. Although our forces are fewer, we have the advantage of terrain. Prudent use of our traps will turn the tide of battle in our favor. The enemy knocks at our gates, but we must remain calm as we form our strategy. Our friends await news of our victory.